just love this case, and I have mentioned it once or twice, so forgive me. But this was in 1952 in an utterly remote region, the Aleutian Islands. One of them is known as Shemya Island. It's closer to Russia than it is to mainland Alaska. So it's way out there. This is right on the Bering Sea there. It's very inhospitable, remote. If you look for it on a map, you will definitely realize this is not a tourist destination at all. It's very, very difficult to be there. In the wintertime, when this occurred, never gets above freezing. The winds are intense, everything. So there was a guy who was a civilian working there. He was not military. He was a rigger. He described himself, I guess, in oil. And he had this day off. I've often wondered, what do you do on your day off in Shemya Island? Probably not much. So he was outside. It was daytime, and he's just looking out of the ocean because, like, what else are you going to do? It's January 1952. He's looking out, and then he says, I heard this noise above me. I looked up. It was a whirring, whining noise, and he saw this craft. It was very similar to the way Kenneth Arnold described the flying saucers in 1947. It's kind of a wing, like a flying wing design. He said it was shaped like a bat. It had these two wings that came back, no fuselage. There was a dome in the center that was glowing red. And there were two greenish lights on either wing, you could say. And it was just there. And he's watching it going down like a leaf, he said, like this. And then it stopped about 75 feet above his head. It's pretty low, certainly close enough to get a very good look at this thing. And it stopped silent and dead, motionless, which he wasn't describing the winds, but I know the winds there are always intense. So this thing is just there. And then he said it tilted to go down and it just slid into the water and he gasped, he said. And then he stood there for as long as he could, waiting for this thing to come out of the water, but it never did. So to me, that's amazing. I've often thought, like, it had to be that moment when he's standing on a rock looking out at this thing had to be probably the most memorable experience of his entire life. Like, whatever else, his name was Eldon White. And it wasn't until 14 years later that he wrote this handwritten letter to NICAP, the UFO organization. And he said, look, this is what happened to me 14 years ago. Back in 1952, when this occurred, who would you report this to? There were no easy places to do that. So he writes it out years later. And no one knows who this guy is. He was totally forgotten by history, and his sighting was forgotten. But my God, just you got to wonder, like, what is this? Like, could this have been experimental technology launched from where? Like, there's no place nearby that you could practically have done something like this. It makes no sense. It doesn't seem like natural phenomenon in any way. The way he described it was extremely technological. So to me, that's a genuine USO for sure.